Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
What up, guys? It is Tuesday, the 9 o'clock hour, where it's your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy, Law.
And your boy, Tone, from across the hall.
Yep, your favorite podcast team, the Nerds, are back live on Tuesdays. Here we are, and we got a great episode for you today. We actually have a double today.
Double feature.
Double dipping.
Yeah, we're dipping in, double dipping.
To be fair, there was no way we would have been able to just do one show today.
Seriously, this guy over here had said that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Mortal Kombat, and then we're gonna talk about Falcon in the 1 hour. I'm like, nah, bro.
No, bro. But you want to know what's awesome though? With double the episodes today, that means we get to bring you more guests. So our first guest that we're gonna bring out in a minute, because we got to do the announcements as always. So guys, make sure you are after the shows checking out the Nerds Network. It's in the description. Great podcast shows to follow, such as the Medusa's Cascade. New episodes every Tuesday. You love D&D? Make sure you tune into the Medusa's Cascade. Check out all them streams there. Support everyone. Follow, like, subscribe. Boom. There we go. Next up, Free Comic Book Day is coming up this Saturday. Your host truly right here, Sebastian. I will be here from 1 to 5 doing a live drawing. So, anyone who wants to come join us and everything.
Are you doing commissions? You take a request? What are we doing?
We might be doing a request, but I would say this is that Dead Planet has been out of circulation for a while. So the PDF file for Dead Planet will be up for you guys to download for free on Free Comic Book Day for anyone who tunes in.
Nice.
Sure. I like that.
Indeed.
Also, too, Drink and Draw. The Nerds will be back on the 22nd, 8 p.m. for a nice little drink and draw event. We're going to be here taking drink and draw, taking requests and all that. Come, bring your favorite drink.
You salsa dancing too?
I'm salsa dancing. There we go. Like that. Yeah. Right. So make sure you guys put that in your calendar circle over here. You'll see our beautiful faces. Yes. You love it. It's Tuesday. Come on.
Yeah, man. You can take the man out the Bronx, but you can't take the Bronx out the man.
Listen.
I'm trying to be good.
Run through my blood.
I'm trying to be good, and Tone's face sent me just now.
And then finally, last Friday, we released Rob Anderson's created series episode. So make sure you're checking out that. Make sure you're subscribing, because next Friday and next Tuesday, actually, I'm going to dub it Robert Powers Week, because next Tuesday, Rob Powers is going to be on here with the Nerds. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter launch party for his new comic, Pengu's Revenge, which is an awesome book. And
so good.
Yes.
So good. I mean, I just keep buying shit now when it comes to people's work,
I'm so grateful for our guests, but they're hurting our pockets.
I'm like, you keep dipping into the pockets and getting these pledges, man, because I want this work. I need these comics all up in my face,
The guys like, Frank, take my money just here. But also, too, the reason why we're dubbing it Rob Powers Week, because his creative series interview comes out next Friday as well. So Rob Powers will be here twice in 1 week. So that's going to be dope. That's going to be awesome. So now, without further ado, because we want to bring our guests out, we want to bring our
Tone, do the thing.
Oh, am I doing that? I was doing that before. Oh, before I have a quick announcement. If we dare I give a quick announcement?
Got announcements.
There you
okay.
I recently was on the You Free podcast with my boy Zim, who's been on the show for a live and for a creator series. So that episode drops tomorrow. The preview of me talking about just random stuff was up on their Instagram. I took a listen. I was like, that sound good. So, the episode drops tomorrow. So if you want to hear different stories from different people all around the country, they literally had someone in the NFL talk to them last week. So definitely give them a check out. Check them out. Definitely. The You Free podcast. Nice. Those guys are very dope. Eric and Azim. So now back to the actual show and the spoiler warning that I have to do. We are talking the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie. Everything will be laid out. Fatalities, plot lines that don't exist. Pretty much everything that we love or hate about this movie. Tony Stark has died. The main character of this fucking movie literally had plot armor. Spoilers are abound.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really getting into it.
Also, too, guys, Rich Dresden, we love you, brother. Yes, my mustache suffered a fatality. So without further ado, I want to bring out our guest. First, you saw him on the show last week talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. He is an awesome artist. He has emojis. We call them Kimbojis. Give it up for the one, the only Kimbo Henry.
What's going on, brother?
The crowd goes wild. Oh my God.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome back. Glad to have you back on the show, brother. You know, Kimbo.
I know Kimbo has words for this.
Yes, he does.
Words for this movie.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
This fucking movie, man. We watched it at 2:00 in the morning. It was just like, what is going on?
2:00 in the morning drunk. But our next guest that we want to bring up, because again, we want to deep dive into this movie. Our next guest, I met her on the Long Island scene. She is an awesome cosplayer, but she has also, during this pandemic, with a great group of cosplayers, started a great game that you can find on TikTok and everything called Witchmark. So I want to give it up for the one, the only, Lauren Clover. Lauren, what is up?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
What's up,
not
Lauren?
as much as no glass shattering entrance or anything, but
I'm very intrigued by this TikTok RPG, TTRPG storytelling, LARPing storytelling that you're telling. It's so dope.
You should be. You should be.
I'm telling you, the way we deep dived into Dungeon and Dragons, I don't be surprised if you see us coming out there dressed as our characers from the D&D.
That's a lot of work. I'll come out with a foam sword and slap a person though. I have no qualms doing that.
I'll help you make some foam plate armor. I got you, Tone.
Plot armor, there we go. But now let's deep dive into this movie. So we won't be discussing the plot because we know for a fighting game, you do not discuss about the plot.
What plot? There's a plot.
I mean, we could talk about the plot armor later, but but compared to the other,
I feel like they started. They tried to have a plot.
It had a plot for 7 minutes. So that's 7 minutes they threw on YouTube. That was the plot, and then they were just like, "Fuck it, it's a video game movie. We got to fall back to our laurels of being shitty video game movies."
But wait,
100% has Christopher Lambert.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But table saw. Yes, definitely. We gotta. Oh.
Also, what is up, Aurelius? We haven't seen you in like
Aurelius.
But no, this movie. I mean, I'm gonna say I did enjoy it as a fan of just with the fight scenes. I didn't care for the plot, but how did you guys feel it stacked up against other fighting game movies like Tekken, Street Fighter? And do you feel that this would have done better as a show? We would start with you, Kimbo, because I know you've been waiting to talk about this movie.
Okay. So
I gotta mute myself. Hold on.
All right. So let me just start off by saying I'm not going to sit here and say that the movie was just straight trash, because I don't believe that's true. Like, that's just a disclaimer right now. I'm not going to say the movie was absolute garbage. That being said, the movie was not good. The movie has a lot of issues. And look, okay, all right, you know what? In comparison to other fighting game movies, right? In comparison to other fighting game movies, let's say like Street Fighter was cheesy as hell. Oh, yeah. Street Fighter knew it was cheesy as hell. Didn't take itself serious.
Which one? Which Street Fighter are you?
First one. We do not talk about Legend of Chun-Li in this house. We do not talk about Legend of Chun-Li.
There's only one good Street Fighter movie, and it's the animated one, but we don't talk about that. All right, we're talking about the live action one.
No, we talk about live action. The animated one is golden. But anyways,
facts.
So that one is cheesy. The original live action, that one's cheesy. It is what it is, right? The original Mortal Kombat movie, it has a little bit of cheesiness to it, but it still was able to tell a story. Okay? Mm-hmm. This movie. So
I'm so mad because I know what Kimbo's face looks like, and I know the face he's making.
So
I'm apparently missing out.
Let me explain something. When that first 7 minutes popped off on YouTube, I watched it because I was like, let me see what the hype's about. Let me see if it's actually going to be any good. And then they showed it. It was basically like the opening scene with Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and then all this stuff going crazy and everything. He finds out his family dies. He's like, oh my gosh, why would you do this to me, Lord? Oh Jesus, Lord, please help me. And then he gets jumped, and he's like, oh no, y'all gonna try to jump me? I'm Hanzo Hasashi. I'm Scorpion. What's good? What's Gucci? He kills everybody, right? And then he finds Sub-Zero, and he's like, hey, yo, my guy, what's good with you? And Bihan's like, I don't fucking like you, dude. And then they just go at it. Me. I was ready for a movie that made me feel like Mortal Kombat story mixed with Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, this is about to be fire, right? This is about to be heat. And then you go to watch the actual movie. That first opening, it's still amazing. It's still heat. And then they introduce Cole Young. Woo! They introduced Cole Young. Lord Jesus, help me.
Can I just say
character
they
I have
introduced
ever dealt with.
Can I just say that Kimbo's doing the all right, so boom, check it. This is what the story
they literally introduced a fucking DLC character for the fucking game franchise. That is what they did.
Thing I've ever seen. I hope there are friendships in Bay Valleys. Oh my Lord Jesus. Well, there's some weird friendships. I'll tell you that much. Because for some reason, Sonya and Kano are fucking besties in this movie. But like, fine. They want to take creative liberties with different plot points in the movie to not match up with the lore. I was like, you know what? Okay. Like the first time I watched the movie, I fell asleep twice. I'm not even gonna hold you. And I was like, yo, this movie's trash. But I was like, no, let me give it a fair chance. Let me not fall asleep. Because I was tired that day. Let me not fall asleep. Let me actually watch it. Maybe I missed something. Maybe the movie's actually good and I just missed something. Because everybody's like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's great. And like, as somebody, thinking back as somebody who used to just play the game mindlessly, didn't really think about the combos and stuff like that, didn't really think about the characters and the lore and all that kind of stuff. Just thinking like, oh, it's a fun little button masher, blah, blah, blah. Thinking about it like that, it wasn't a bad movie. I'm like, oh, there's different little callbacks to when Kano kept getting swept over and over again and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a little fun throwback nod to the old days of being in the arcade and fighting somebody who kept just mashing the same thing over and over again. But it's like, if you actually love the characters and stuff like that, you're gonna be mad as fuck at this movie. You're going to be so upset if you actually like the characters and the way they interact with each other and you want to see cool relationships. You're going to be upset at this movie. If you're a fan of Kano and Sub-Zero, you're going to love this movie. If you like anybody else, you're going to hate this movie.
Okay, before we go over to Lauren, Rich, Master agree with you. Kano does not have any besties, but that was a friendship. But Lauren, I want you, tackle that question. Do you feel that this movie, how did you feel that it's stacked against other fighting game movies like Tekken, Street Fighter, and all of them? And do you feel like this would have done better as a show?
I do feel like it would have done better if we got a little bit more. Because it's kind of the same point as their plot out the window. And can we just touch on the fact that it was a Mortal Kombat movie without the actual Mortal Kombat? They never
won a tournament, and I get an origin story for fucking DLC character. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no.
And we have the jobber. And in wrestling terms, we had the jobber as the main character. So
yeah, I mean, because I was just sitting there. So does he become the new Scorpion now? Like, what is happening? Like, I'm confused. But I mean, fighting wise, very entertaining. Like, if you're just sitting there mindlessly watching it, and yes, I was also famously a button masher when it came to these games. So you could see in the fighting of, oh, that was clearly like a button masher move. And there was clear fan service to with when it comes to referencing the game and when it came to referencing certain sounds. When I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase it, but when it comes to other, I mean, if you're gonna honestly compare it to Tekken or Street Fighter, Street Fighter, we're not gonna touch Street Fighter. That was I mean, that's
Double
just pure
Dragon was a
entertainment
better
and
movie.
Yes, Double
I
Dragon was a better movie. But I mean, for the fighting purposes, sure, it was very entertaining. As a film editor, there were some glaring mistakes that I'm like, they were clearly asleep that day. Like, there were so many bad cuts of the person's looking this way and they literally just step away and now they're like turned around. And I'm like, what the hell was that?
I thought it was just
Like,
me.
No.
I'm so glad it's not just me.
No, I mean, granted, like I kind of like look out for this stuff because it's what I stare at the screen doing. But yeah, no, there's so many clear mistakes and bad cuts and the whole, that person's supposed to be talking right now, but because his face is turned from the camera, his mouth isn't moving type deal. And
Damn,
you know,
that's a
I
good
mean,
catch.
that's just lazy. But I again, plot wise, it was so lazy. Fighting wise, fantastic. Graphics so much better than like the original movie. Clearly, obviously, for a good reason.
Well, we're gonna take some comments here. So Rich says Scorpion was always his favorite. I think they did Scorpion justice. Straight up button masher right here. My Genesis show still hate me 30 years later. Yes. And then Dave says Goro fatality greater than Van Damme as Guile. I mean, yeah, let's be honest.
Can we talk about that though?
Van Damme was high.
Wait, the Goro?
Yes.
Oh, he was wasted.
We're gonna
Just
talk.
shows up for 5 minutes and is wasted.
We're gonna talk about Goro. He is there. Don't worry. We're gonna hit. We got time.
He got General Grievous. He got his hands cut off, man. Like
we got time. We got time for that. But Tony, I want you guys to tackle that question.
Don't let me do it.
Unless you want to skip it. We can
No. We need to talk about our gripes about.
Of course.
Yes, come on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tone. Go ahead, Tone. Go ahead, Tone.
You go first. I'm getting called by Josie. You go first.
Okay. So, immediately, like I wasn't looking for like an amazing story with this. I just needed a cohesive story. Like, just just try to have a story. And I feel like they started and they were just like halfway through, you know what? Fuck it. And threw away the rest of the script and we're like, let's just see how this goes. Why are we doing this? Like we could have there's so much good lore in the games, and it's not even like a huge story based game. There is a tournament. There is this. Like we know the beats already. They're so like few, but they are very important. And they were just like, all that shit, we don't want it. We're not gonna do it. And it's like, but why? It's right there. It is literally just there for you to pluck it and like bring it to life. I'm so mind blown that like not only did the first like 90s film do it so much better, but like the YouTube fan whatever production, the Machinima one, did so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to your point, Seabass, I think like if they did like this first movie as a series and then did like a full movie, would have been dope. Would have been super dope. I would have been here for it. But I feel like it was wasted on like stories that like were just there for the sake of being there, and characters were just there for the sake of being there, but didn't have any like meaning. So it was just like, why give me this if they're just gonna be fluff? Like Scorpion, probably the dopest part of this movie was Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
It was a big fight. It should have been called Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yes.
But everything else felt like fluff, like as a result of it, because like nothing else had as much meaningful impact. The one character casting choices, a little bit iffy. We're gonna talk about that later. Hashtag not my Liu Kang. But listen.
Should have been Tony Jaa. That's who it should have been.
Can we talk about it?
We're gonna touch up on them. I got each character that we're gonna touch up on. Don't worry.
We're going.
I don't even know. I don't know if we have enough time to do that.
Don't worry. We got it.
Short and simple. it just didn't resonate. Like I was like, I know what you're trying to do. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you the tournament arc. I'm like, you guys could have did the story and given us a tournament arc. You got Shang Tsung looking like a fucking bitch. Like, fuck out of here.
Oh.
I was just mad. I wanted to like this movie so much, and it felt like I was watching the Snyder Cut all over again. That's it.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I like the actor who
Yes, the
who
actor's
plays
so
Shang
good.
Tsung, the new Shang Tsung. I like him as an actor. And it
But
was
his fit, not it. His whatever he's going for, not it.
That wig, not it.
I didn't care for the armor either. I thought his whole vibe was just
So Tony, give us your thoughts. You're next,
Like a
and
little
we're going to
bitch.
do this.
okay. Well, look, you got the first 7 minutes of the movie, you got the last 7 minutes of the movie, and then whatever the fuck happened in the middle. Because it's literally Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I gotta say that no matter what role this man is in, Hiroyuki Sanada is fucking amazing. He commits to every role. It doesn't matter if he's a main character or a 5-minute character it doesn't fucking matter. I will watch him be an angry dude with a fucking samurai weapon, kick ass every day of the week. Last Samurai, Wolverine, Endgame. I mean, like, I'm surprised. I don't know why they killed him in Endgame. I want to see him in the MCU. Just running shit with going against Hawkeye. Anyway, I digress. He's one of the best things of this movie. That 7 minutes is one of the coolest things we saw. I mean, essentially the trailers for this movie was the first 7 minutes of the movie, which is why we were all hyped for this movie. I did not like. That is how they get you.
That's why I didn't watch it. 2, that's why I didn't get hyped, because I was like, oh, I've been fucking disappointed before.
Yeah. So. And then I see people online saying, "Oh, well, this movie was really good," and people you just shitting on it, or if you were expecting something. I'm like, nah, fam. I'm comparing this to one movie, the '90s version. I love the '90s movie.
The bar was so low.
I love the '90s movie. Like Kimbo was talking about how the '90s movie knew it was campy. It knew exactly what it was, but it hits the mark. Aside from like a couple things, like Scorpion's fucking spear creature thing or whatever. But all the cheesy Mortal Kombat lines landed because they were committed. The original dude who did Shang Tsung, and he's like, "Your soul is mine." I'm like, "Yo, I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt it. I felt here." I don't feel it when they say he used a fatality in a sentence. I didn't feel it. He used flawless victory in a sentence. I didn't feel it. It was. I didn't care about the fact that we want to use Scorpion's descendant to carry on the movie when we could have just used Liu Kang or some other character as our main guy. Why is it Scorpion's descendant? Why does this dude have plot armor? Why are we using some magic mystical shit for us to get our powers? What is this? Just let these people be quote unquote metahumans to fight to the tournament to save the Earth, because Earth's lost nine times out of 10.
Wasted.
Yeah.
Rick,
I mean,
and we would have felt more. We would have felt more.
Yep.
I enjoyed the
feel it as
fatalities. I thought the fatalities were cool. The gore was cool. But like that's it. And like granted, I want the gratuitous violence of Mortal Kombat in there, and we got that, but it was just lacking. Like that whole most of the movie. Like, why are they in Raiden's temple? Oh God. And also Raiden did the cardinal sin of every other fucking wizard. He did fucking nothing. He did nothing in the entire movie.
I think Tony's mad with this movie.
I wanted more. I know
more.
We all
first clue.
Because I love the 90s movie because it's just so campy and good, and that's all I was comparing it to. Because I don't know MK lore.
No,
it's just like,
my God.
I'm gonna be honest. We're not, because I think we all touched up on all the other questions I have, because I wanted to compare it to the 90s movie. We all know that the 90s movie was tops. 90 movies was the best. We all know that also too that we all hate Cole Young. We don't want to see Cole Young. Don't put him in our video games.
No. Wait, let me backtrack. Cole Young could have been a dope character. He could have been, but he felt forced, and then it was like, oh, you're the last line of Scorpion's legacy, and it didn't feel like it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right making him a descendant. You give him his weapon, and then his power is armor. Why give him the weapon then? The weapon means nothing for him. Nothing at all.
I think the biggest issue with Cole Young as a character on top of that is the fact that like he was clearly created to kind of be like a surrogate for the audience. You know, to be like, oh, everybody else knows what's going on, so let's create this character to kind of be like the audience who's like learning what's going on for the first time, which in theory isn't a bad idea. But Mortal Kombat by design already has characters for that. That's what Sonya and Johnny Cage were there for.
Johnny Cage would have been the perfect character for that.
Exactly. Like they don't know what's going on, and Raiden is usually the guy that has to explain everything for them. They did that in the 90s movie. They've done that in MK9 and MKX and everything. They did that in the literal games. Y'all had a template and y'all still fumbled the bag. Are you going to tell me Scorpion's origin story, or are you talking about the tournament?
It sounds like Warner Brothers goes beyond the scope of DC and fucking up their already established blueprint stories.
It's been around since forever, and like we just wanted a tournament, man. Like, just give me the
tournament. We didn't get it. We didn't have it.
How did their animated movie do so much better?
We all know we're stuck with, but let's go some comments real quick. Rich goes, Mortal Kombat presents a rated R for pirates. Mortal Kombat, Steven, Steven 7's particular minutes. The real tragedy is the fans knew more about the MK story than the writers. Yes, they totally agree. Rich goes, I wonder if this movie would end up being better if you enter a cheat code.
Wow, it probably would.
What up, George?
What up, George?
Listen, you know what? At this point, I just would have been happy if you got like people popping up saying Toasty. Like, I would have been good if we just if we just got it. Because like
fully commit.
Just commit to the cheese. Like you did the whole leg sweep thing 3 times in a row. Have some fucking red shirt just saying Toasty. I would have been good. I would have been good. Well, like, come on, man.
But let's start diving into.
I'm mad. Kano. First of all, Kano's casting was very.
We're gonna get. Wait. We're getting into that. We're getting into that because now let's talk about characters. Because again, I want to skip all the other questions because we've already brushed through all this stuff. But I want to know how you guys felt about Kano and Cabal. I'm going to start with you, Lauren. Please, the mic is yours to start off with. How did you feel about the casting and everything, and how Kano and Cabal were portrayed?
I mean, Josh Lawson. It was. He kind of carried a lot of the scenes. Like, he got the best lines, and it was like, oh, let's think of some witty lines, and then let's give them to only one character because only one character can be witty. And I mean, he did it great and whatnot. And I mean, for his character and for the build up, it worked, it fit, but. Again, it's one of those.
I feel like you're trying to be real nice about this, and you don't have to be nice about this movie. I don't know if you've seen our show, but I need to know. Go off, sis. Go off.
I'm trying not to. I'm also trying not to be too loud. I don't want to wake the kid. She's gonna hear me scream. I do that enough when I'm playing video games. But no, like the main thing is that, like, you know, you have this character, it clear, and he is clearly the fan favorite because that is all anybody I've seen posting about is just like how they felt that he carried the film and how he was the one that they really connected to. And that if that is what the audience is connecting to, you got a problem. Mm-hmm. You got a problem as a writer. Like, that's not the character you want the audience connecting to. You want them connecting to your Cole. You want them connecting to Sonya. You want them, like, you know, the characters that are learning and are bringing you through the storyline, and, you know, not the chaotic character that can't figure out where he stands in life and is busy bouncing back and forth just because he needs to serve his own purpose, you know, besides Welcome to America. But like, that's just that's just the thing about Kano's character that I felt short, is that they, again, this goes back to, it could have been more of a series that could have built up more.
Oh yeah.
Because totally he's a selfish character. We get that. Could he possibly be something more you saw maybe 2 moments where there was maybe hints of that, where you could have possibly have been like, oh, maybe, nope. Okay, thanks. Like, immediately squashed. There was no time for that, for any fans to even like look at it and then feel betrayed. But it kind of turns in like, it's not like Loki. How many times has turned back and forth, but he at least has the fan base where everybody feels for him, because you see him dealing with his constant struggle because of how he was raised and because of how he learned who he was, and which is his motivations behind everything. You didn't learn shit about Kano. You don't know his motivations. You just know he's an asshole who's selfish.
And George agrees with you too. He says
yes,
like
he stole every scene. He stole every scene, and they killed him. They killed off a lot of the characters that were very interesting, that they could have done more with, and now that's all that's left to wonder, because they did leave it open for a sequel as well. Who the hell besides Cage, who they set up, is going to be in the second movie?
We're all very passionate about this movie, I'm telling you. But Kimbo, you're up next. But first, Peter, Jay say we're the outstanding scream at the beginning, like the 90s film. Awesome. Yeah, we wanted that Mortal Kombat scream in the beginning, but we didn't get it. And that's another flaw for this movie. But
yes.
Kimbo, weigh in on Kano and Cabal.
Okay, so we're talking about just Kano and Cabal specifically. All right. Personally, those two are actually my favorite, because those two were probably the most accurate to the way they were in the actual games and everything like that. Like when I saw Cabal and everything, and like his intro line was talking about Natara, and she's like, "Oh, that scream is a real crowd pleaser," or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, Cabal still being a wisecracking like little dude and everything. I'm like, that's cool, And I'm like, oh, at some point in the movie, they're going to explain why Cabal is in Outworld, because he clearly knows Kano. So they're gonna explain how he ended up here and how he ended up once things to the side, right? No, they're not going to explain that at all. They're not going to explain how Kano and Cabal really knew each other. Not even a little bit. None whatsoever. Like, they just want to talk about it. Like, there's so many interesting points in this movie that they could have shown us, but instead they just talked about it. And I'm like, ew. Like, come on, you guys, do better. Like, if this movie was just Mortal Kombat Origins Scorpion, this would have been a good movie.
Yes.
If this was a movie about the tournament, this would have been a good movie. But this amalgamation and all that kind of stuff, bleh. But we will get there. Just talking about Kano and Cabal, they saved this movie for me. Because if it wasn't for them two, I would not have cared about this movie. I would have been asleep every time anybody other than Sub-Zero was on screen, if it wasn't for these two.
Law, jump in there about Kano and Cabal. I know you wanted to say something.
So one, Kano's casting was always weird for me. Like, it's probably because I know him from House of Lies, and I just see him as like this, like, comical character, but not a fighter. Not this like, oh, like whatever, I'm a badass. So I'm just looking at him going, "You're in a suit and tie, like, and like you're a pushover." Like, he didn't seem as threatening as like. It's one of those things, like when you're a kid, you get the one picture in your head or the one voice in your head, and that sticks with you. The Kano from the 90s seemed like a dude who could kill you. Like oh shit, like big knife. Seemed real badass. This dude, I was just like, I can't wait till someone punches your teeth in. Like, there wasn't anything that like really did it for me where I was like, oh, I love Kano. But yes, he did like carry a lot of this fucking movie. Cabal, super dope. But like to Kimbo's point, there was a lot of like stuff that they just never explained. Like, one, how did he get to Outworld, and like what that relationship was like Lauren said. And I'm just looking at it going, why? Like there's like hints and references to stuff, but there's zero context. It is literally like, oh, we're about to give you this fire ass sandwich. It just gives you bread, lettuce, and maybe if you're lucky, you get like some sort of mayo. And that's like the best that they can do right now. Because it just felt like they like had this idea, and halfway through they ran out of time. Like it was just, oh, you know what? We're gonna put it out here. How do you like it, chef? Fuck out of here. We hate this shit. This shit was garbage.
Tony.
I mean, I get the hype behind Kano, but it just felt like they were putting so much on him to carry this movie. It was just excessive. It was one of those, it was like, take a shot for every time this guy says fuck, motherfucker, fucker, and you'd be dead. Like we were because me, Seabass, and our wives, we all watched the movie together, and we made that joke, and then he ended up saying fuck 3 more times within 15. We're like, yo, what's going on with this movie? Cabal, to Kimbo's point, it just like they touch it, that they know each other, and then they take it away. It just felt like this movie was, instead of being a singular movie that can have sequels in the future, they completely banked on this being the pillar of a universe. And that just doesn't work for a lot of movies. You still need to have good movies. Mm-hmm. You need to have a good story. Sure, you can have some plot points that are little Easter eggs or little things that we want to touch up on in another. But it really just felt like, oh, well, we're, Sub-Zero signed on for 4 movies. So, we're just going to throw shit to the wall, see what sticks, and then we're going to keep it pushing. And I think they did that with a lot of these characters. I think it was funny. It felt like Cabal was like a mafioso, the way he kept talking, expecting to be owed something. But it is what it is.
Oh, we got 3 more characters in the docket. Coming soon to HBO Max, Mortal Kombat, the Snyder Cut. Yes. But let's talk about Sonya Blade, Jax, and Molina. And I'm going to let you lead on this one, Laurie.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, no.
I got one thing for Jax. Everyone else, I don't really care. I got something for Jax, though.
I got something for Jax, too. Oh.
Oh. I mean, so Sonya, what the fuck was that? What the fuck? I mean, there was... You could have used her. You could have used her instead of Cole to walk you through everything. Because she was learning everything too. She absolutely could have been the audience's avatar to walk through and figure out what the fuck was going on instead of this made up character that we don't even know who the fuck he is now. And it's just like it was just kind of like, halfway through, like most of the time she's just like, I'm just happy to be here. I can kick ass. I'm happy to be here. Like until she had to prove her worth. The constant, as annoying as it is, the constant female struggle of I need to prove my worth. Like I can play with the big boys. Why? She's Sonya. She can kick ass.
She's so much more badass than that.
Yeah, just badass in the 90s movie.
In the 90s movie, she's just like, I'm just here and I'm gonna kick all your asses. Like, I mean, Jax, I felt like that was just to throw the character in, did not get nearly as much screen time. There's so much more that could have been done with that character, but let's give him at least a clear, good, kick-ass last scene in that fight. But does that really make up for everything else that you could have done?
No,
with the character, exactly. No, exactly. I mean, the explanation of the arms and the build up. But still, like there's so much more you could have done, and you just you fell flat. And I can't with Molina. I just, of all the characters to pick, I am surprised that they picked Molina.
Yes.
I am very surprised. Especially
you have no
because
context for Melina.
Nope.
You don't.
But Katana's fan was there.
But
for some reason.
But Katana's fan.
Which clearly, I mean, if they do manage to make it to the second movie and it doesn't get Katana has to be in the second movie. I mean, there's so many other characters that you want to be able to see, but I mean, you didn't have Katana in this movie, but you picked Molina, and there was nothing to her. There was no personality. There was no story. There was nothing. She was just a guard dog waiting for the order, and that was it. What the fuck?
I love it.
There it
There's
is.
so much more.
Indeed.
Law, you are up. Yeah, Veronica Vaughn played the original Sonya in the 90s movie. Rich Dresden, shout out to him, Lucky Zilla Dresden Media. But Lost, hit up how did you feel
Mr.
about
Laserdisc himself?
Oh yeah.
Yo, so Sonya felt like she was just there for the sake of being there. Like, I get to participate, get a participation trophy. Kind of feel, like, oh yeah, like I can't wait till like I kill Kano and get my own marking. Like, fuck out of here. That was just dumb. Jax, my boy Jax, deserves so much better than what he got. First of all, I was like kind of like about the casting, but then I've seen his body work, so I was like, all right, it can go either way, so long as they write him well. But clearly, as we've seen with this movie, they didn't write anyone well, so fuck out of here. So yeah. Jax they just did him dirty. They did a lot of these characters just dirty. Like, that's the overall consensus. And like with Molina, like and I was watching like Kimbo's play-by-play Facebook status. Dude, like, you have no context for Molina. Like, you have no idea how badass of a character she is, like why she's there. Like, she shouldn't even be in the room yet. Like, there's no reason to have her there without Katana first. And it's just like, why? Like, this felt like the Percy Jackson movie where they literally just looked at the back of the book, looked at the summary, and was like, bet, we understand how this is gonna work. Let's do it. They literally they probably saw 5 minutes of the original movie and was like, you know what? We could do that too, but we could do it better.
You know what they did? They didn't have enough budget for all the characters they wanted, so they threw all the characters in a fucking hat and then picked them out. And whoever they got was who they used.
Well, you're up next, Tony. Go ahead, because we're saving Kimbo for last, because Kimbo's going to back clean up with this one.
Okay. So I don't have much context from Molina, aside from what everyone was saying, how she has no reason to be there. We should have used Katana. I thought it was surprising even just to see Molina. It was more so just seeing her fucked up vicious face in action. Felt like that's kind of what the reason for using her was. Sonya, the one thing my wife kept saying is, why in the hell does Sonya need to keep coddling all these dudes? Why? Why is she having these heart-to-hearts with them? I don't need that from Sonya Blade. I just need her to go and kick ass. And that's it. I don't need the coddling. I don't need any of that. Just go and fucking fight and kill people.
Oldest person in the room.
Yeah.
Like,
now,
come on.
And then Jax. You know the meme of the horse where the half of the horse is drawn really good and then the other half of the horse is drawn really fucked up, like seasons 1 through 4 Game of Thrones and then seasons 5 through 8, right? Okay, so Jax, up until he loses his arms, is the horse, the caboose, the nice written part. They get frozen, they get ripped off. I'm here for that. Cool. We have a reason for why he gets metal arms. Then he teleports to Raiden's temple. And then these monks have technology to put fucking metal arms, but not the brolic metal arms that he gets later. No, the Scary Movie 2, my strong hand arms. Like, bro, what was that? He's like eating like this. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then he gets his power, and then he gets fucking his arms transform as if he's a transformer. Nah, fam.
I was done. About their digivolutions. Anytime they got power, I was like, what are they doing?
What is this? Oh, you unlocked it. Oh, I forgot what was the. I don't know what the term was. It was like you unlocked unlocked the Arcana. I'm like, what? What is this? Why? I was like,
Sonya got her Arcana way too fast, and it was whack.
She did.
It was fucking whack.
Well, it was like we did see her pink beams. That's what we needed to see.
Immediately.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Why they just like Jax had just been like with no arms, and then he gets his big metal arms. He didn't need the stilts to the brolic arms. He didn't need it. He didn't need it. We were watching. I'm looking at Jax like, yo, what they do to my man's right now? Like, what is this?
What they do to my boy?
Like, what happened to you, man? You started out so good. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Go ahead, clean it up, Kimbo.
Kimbo, yes, you are. But first, before Kimbo cleans it up, Silver Lining, Kung Lao got the screen time we needed in the 90s film. And by Silver Lining, I meant his sombrero. Yes. Kimbo, clean it up with these characters. Come on.
Okay, I have to stand up for this one. All right, listen. Listen. I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna go in order from who annoyed me the least to who annoyed me the most out of those three characters. Let's start with Molina. All right. I don't hate Molina, right? I love Molina. I love the fact that they were going to add her into this. When I saw, what's her name, Sissy something or other, that she was getting cast as Molina, I was like, okay, cool. We got a black woman as Molina and Katana. That's what's. I'm like, wait, hold up. How come they only put Molina? You mean Molina / Katana, right? Like they're going to put both in the movie because it would be dumb to have one and not the other. Because like she's a clone of Katana. So like that would be really stupid if you add the clone, but not the person she's a clone from, right? So I'm like, they're gonna put Molina and Katana, right? Like that'd be crazy. And then I'm watching the movie. I'm like, all right, cool, but like, where's Katana? Like I'm confused here. Like, and we don't even want to talk about like what Molina is, why she got the mouth. She didn't even show the real mouth for like a hot minute. Like Sonya was like, "Oh, please tell me I got the bitch with the teeth." What teeth? You didn't see them yet. What do you mean? Like,
thank you, Kimbo. Thank you.
Right, yes,
that didn't make no sense. All right, but since we're talking about Sonya, let me transition over to Sonya. Right.
I'm on your ass.
All right, Sonya, I'm on your ass. Listen. Here's what didn't make sense to me, right? So one of the things I was looking forward to the most in this movie, right? There was a part in the trailer where Sonya said, "Oh, me and Jax had to go find a fighter, blah, blah, blah. We met somebody with superhuman abilities, and he tore through our unit in seconds." And they juxtaposed that with Jax getting his arms frozen by Sub-Zero. So we're thinking that Sonya is telling the story about how they ran into Sub-Zero the first time. That's not what happened. Because for some reason, Jax went in that bitch by himself to fight somebody that he knows has superhuman abilities. And for some reason, Sonya is also by herself dealing with all of this shit. I don't understand why. It don't make any sense how the people in special forces have no military backup when they have proof of dealing with people with superhuman abilities. But whatever, I guess. For some reason, Sonya's not even going to have the damn dragon tattoo, even though she was one of the first three characters that's supposed to be the chosen Earthrealm champions with Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya, but she's going to be the one without a dragon tattoo. Okay, whatever movie, whatever you want to say, sure, we'll believe that. But then, you know what? I'm gonna transition to Jax while I'm here. Let me transition to Jax because this character annoyed me the most throughout the entire fucking movie. All right, like first off, why is it like somebody said? I forget who said it because I was really just waiting my turn. I was like, my eyes were closed, but I was listening. But I was really just waiting my turn for a hot minute. And then somebody said that up until he lost his arms, he was a good character. That's exactly where I agree with you. Up until he lost his arms, he was a good character because my man, like he seemed cool. He seemed to have a kind of like demeanor to him. It's clear he was tracking Cole. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. You know, the scene where Sub-Zero comes through with the snow and everything and the hail, making it hail. Jax is like, oh my God, yo, get in. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, get in. I'm like, okay, Jax gonna be the real hero right here. Okay, all right. And then he said, take this truck, go save your family. I'm gonna stay behind. I'm like, okay, you gonna like distract Sub-Zero for a little bit, but you're not gonna really try to go head to head with him, right? Because that would be a little stupid. And like I would like forgive Jax if it's like, all right, you weren't ready to like deal with somebody who was supernatural. You don't have this kind of thing in mind. But Sonya later literally says, oh, 7 years ago, we dealt with somebody with superhuman abilities. So I'm like, okay, so you know people like this probably exist. And you saw this man turn into like snowy ice water vapor mist and go into the building. And for some reason, you thought, yeah, I'm going to follow him in there by myself. That's a really good idea. I saw this man just freeze an entire block. And I think fighting him one-on-one is a good idea.
It was a shotgun blast to his face. It was like, I don't need no guns. I'm good.
No. Here's what happened. Here's what made it worse. This man had a gun. He had a gun. He saw Sub-Zero, and rightfully so, he aimed it and shot it. I'm like, all right, bet. This makes sense. And then Sub-Zero caught this man's gun and froze it as he's getting shot. First off, that shot was amazing. I'm going to give the movie some credit. That shot was amazing. But He froze the gun and then smacked the gun and shattered it. At that point, if I'm Jax, I'm out. I'm leaving. I just saw this man just take my entire weapon and shatter it into pieces in front of me. Cole got enough time by now. If he's still like not out of range by now, he gonna die. It is what it is. I'm not about to die for some random ass white boy. You got me fucked up. Absolutely the fuck not. Are you serious? And I'm supposed to just sit there. I'm supposed to go. He's talking about, oh, I did 6 tours, motherfucker. This man just froze your weapon in front of you. What you mean you did 6 tours? That's what you want to tell me right now, guys? You really you did 6 tours against dudes like that? For real? Get the fuck out of my face. And you're gonna be surprised when you try to punch him and he catches your punches and freezes your arms off and shatters into a million pieces. You're surprised by this? You didn't see him do that to your gun 10 minutes ago? You're surprised somehow he did this? He clearly has more martial arts training than you, but nah, you did 6 tours, motherfucker. Just get the fuck out of my face. And then, oh my god, there's one line that pissed me off more than anything about Jax. Y'all remember, like, near the end of the movie where Cole was like, oh, let's separate them and make our own little tournament. Ha, 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 he, he, ho, ho, ho. And then, you know, they're like matching people off with different characters. You know, Sonya got Kano, blah, 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 blah. And then fucking Jax was like, oh, give me Reiko. I got a score to settle. You got a score to settle with him as if Sub-Zero ripped off your fucking arms? You don't have a score to settle with that guy? Are you dead eyes? You got a score to settle with a guy who
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
The dude Reiko hit you with a hammer one time, my guy. And you're upset about that? You got a score to settle, but literally took off your arms and amputated you? Are you dead eyes? You don't have an issue with him? Word? For real, Jax? Make oh my god.
Let's be. We want to go in more with it because
Oh my god.
if you guys want to know how Kimbo really feels,
There it is.
There you go. Just
There
talk
it
to him in
is.
comments. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna
I
cover
don't know.
more.
I still
Mortal
don't. I
Kombat.
still. I think he liked it.
Yeah, Sub-Zero came in
He
like,
watched it 3 times.
I mean,
No,
seriously.
twice. I was not gonna subject myself to that.
but we gotta wrap up this hour. As much as we want to keep going to
man.
Mortal Kombat, all I gotta say is that yes, a lot of characters were wasted. This movie was wasted. I'm just gonna go into my final thoughts. I want to thank our guests for coming on because again, this was and thank you, Kimbo, for that because that's just that was amazing.
That was
Go
gold.
off,
amazing.
Kimbo.
I'm sorry. I could
It's all
keep
good.
going,
Listen.
but I know we have a limited time. I could keep going.
No, I know. It's like there's so much that we all like Lauren and everyone. We all can go in on this movie because we all said our piece, and I was like, these are just some of the main and there's even still more characters as movies that were just like not really used, like Reptile, Natara, Goro, all of them. And I think because this movie,
Reptile wasted.
we
Like,
know,
Hashtag
wasted.
wasted.
but I know how this movie it could have
Shang Tsung wasted.
wasted.
Yes.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
don't make me pull up the meme, but I want to thank everyone that joined us today. I want to make sure you guys are following Lauren, following Kimbo. Check out Kimbo's amazing art. Check out Lauren and her crew's amazing game.
Yo.
Please, guys, tell us about your stuff. Lauren, please go into details in the game. Please go right ahead.
So if you're on TikTok and if you're into LARPing or if you just want to follow along the story, you can check out the hashtag witchmarked. It's all one word. But it is interactive storytelling. It's kind of a new way of LARPing for people who just because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to meet up. We haven't been able to do live LARPs. Everybody's staying at home. People living all over the world. This has been our way of coming together and creating new stories. So there's Witchmarked. There's another tag called Element Allies. There's another one, Stardust Smugglers, which is kind of like one big game of pirates and fairies. There's Kingdom of Stars, which is kind of like pirates and fairies, just in the sky, just in outer space. So I mean, there's all these different LARP tags and different storylines where people are creating original characters, creating their own character design, their own stories, and being able to interact with other people's characters and create more of a story to create kind of like a show in a sense, which marked we have created actually more of an RPG styled game where the players do have certain choices because there is an overworld story that towards the end we're hoping that the players reach a certain decision and make certain choices depending on their characters that they've created.
So I want to thank you guys for coming on. So make sure you guys check out the links in the description. Follow Kimbo, follow Lauren, give them all the support. These guys are awesome content creators. And especially after that rant, you definitely want to follow Kimbo. So this is
Go facts.
So join us for our next show.
Now.
We will be on at 10:05, 10:10 with our next show, which is going to feature the cast from Comics Cast, Joe Tolliver and Jarrell Matos and V Mac, who are going to be talking Falcon and Winter Soldier with us. So come back at 10:05, 10:10.
Drastic difference.
Oh yeah. So
Drastic difference in tone.
this has been your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
Peace.
Night, everybody.